Alright guys, welcome back to another video, and today I wanted to show you guys what I did with my 3D setup. You guys know I've had a 3D computer in this retro game room that was always, what I used to play Nvidia 3D. If you guys remember Nvidia 3D from back in the day, I've done a ton of videos on this, like in 2020, 2021, 2022, just kind of keeping it updated on what the current standards are for playing 3D on your PC. And this video is not technically about the 3D aspect of this setup today, even though I'm using my 3D computer to show it off. This is more about the facelift that it's obviously gotten here. As you guys can tell, SpongeBob here that we have going on. And the reason that I did SpongeBob is not because I technically grew up with SpongeBob, because actually I only started watching SpongeBob here in the last couple of years because that kind of missed my train when I was a kid, even though I do like it nowadays, and I always knew who the character was. It wasn't a show that I watched every single episode of, like some of you guys may have. But what I had here before, if you guys remember, was that Spider-Man chair. I had a Spider-Man chair behind me. It was a red PC, and it was very plain over here. There was nothing really going on that really matched this setup anymore. There was a gamer sign over here that was okay, and then an Oculus poster that was over there, which I haven't thrown out, but obviously it didn't match anything that was going on in this room. The Oculus has nothing to do with being retro gaming. That was when my PC was down here back in the day, and I had my office down here, which obviously that has changed. My office is now upstairs. So with that and Spider-Man not having anything really to do with retro vibes, in my opinion, in this room, I thought it was time for a facelift, and obviously that's where we kind of landed here. We are doing a review or impressions, or we are doing a showcase on what I did with this setup, what I've added to make this SpongeBob theme, and talk about some of this stuff that kind of improved this and makes it flow a lot better with the retro vibes in this room. So let's go ahead and get into the video.
Gaming tech, eating brekkie is the gaming tech. Going for a brekkie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie is the gaming tech. Gaming techie.
All right, guys, so here is the setup here. Let's go ahead and talk about everything in this setup. So let's start off right here at the top here. So right here, you can see there is the Bikini Bottom poster. We needed to have Bikini Bottom kind of represented right there. Sorry about the lighting in this corner, but there it is. And then next to that in the center is a nice little SpongeBob figurine. And I really like this thing because you can actually press it if you turn it on in the back, I believe. Hold on. Gotta swing him around for a second.
Don't be shy. Come on.
There you go. This is from back in the day. Sounds just like him, and it goes through a bunch of different lines.
You know you're my best friend? Ow! Kidding.
So that's really, really cool. It goes through, like I said, a bunch of different lines and stuff. I'm going to go ahead and turn this off so I don't forget, so the batteries don't die for nothing. But yeah, that's the SpongeBob figurine right there, which is really cool, along with that right there. And then you have a couple of different like postcards and stuff from different scenes of the show back there. A couple of stickers that I got from Bikini Bottom Rehydrated that I do play on this PC. That was the other reason that I kind of went with the SpongeBob theme, is that the Spider-Man chair that I had before here, which we'll get into in a minute, was fine for what it was, but it also, with this 3D PC, there wasn't a Spider-Man game that I was playing in 3D, so it didn't even fit that vibe. So if someone came here and they were like, "Oh, you have a Spider-Man theme. Like, what games do you have on here that's Spider-Man?" Oh, none. So that's the other reason that this also matched this setup better, is that I actually have SpongeBob games, which we'll talk about when we look at the PC here in a second, that you can actually play in 3D. So it also made more sense in that as well. But coming over here to the right of that, we have "I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready." Obviously, the iconic phrase from SpongeBob sitting right there as the other poster. So that is the top section here that kind of makes up the beginning portion of it. Love that SpongeBob figure and all that stuff sitting right there on the poster and stuff, which is really, really cool. And this is just my clock that I have here that I actually think it's unplugged. It usually showcases like a ticker. I used to have this when I had my other PC down here where it just shows ticker of like my YouTube count and everything. It's unplugged, but I will plug that back in. But that's all that is. I've done a review. It's like a Lemaitre clock on that before. It's been here for a while. So coming to the right over here, let's go ahead and talk about the chair next. Obviously, that being a really big thing. I love the look of this chair. Like I said, it replaced my Spider-Man chair. That was another concession of like what I wanted to replace this with, is that, I wanted to get a chair that replaced it. And it's not like I have a million options of chairs that are retro, because, there's only some that are actually made. So when I found that they were making a SpongeBob chair. I love the way that this looks, as you can see. Brand new, not used or anything. Going around to the back here, you can see it has the SpongeBob SquarePants logo right there, which looks fantastic and really has a cool look to the back of the chair. Really comfortable PC chair, and it just fits so well. Love the eyes in front of it and everything. What a great chair. So really happy with the way that chair looks and feels. Now, besides the chair, here on the desk setup, we have obviously added a few things. We got these nice SpongeBob artwork right here for the mouse pad on the bottom, as opposed to the plain mouse pad that was black here before. So I really like that, and it has a wireless phone charger right here. And a bonus that I didn't know when I got it, it actually changes the LEDs over here. As you can see, they're changing right now. And if you touch this button, you can make it a specific color as they're cycling through. And I'm going to leave it at yellow just to match the rest of the vibes, but it could just cycle as well. But you can see that right there, that it goes around the whole entire mouse pad, and in my opinion, looks fantastic. And then we got the keyboard here, which lights up. I love the space bar, how it kind of like glows through and stuff like that. These are from Ghost Keyboards, this whole entire keyboard, mouse, and mouse pad setup. Love it. Love the keyboard setup over here. They give you some extra keys if you want to change it that I have stored over there. But I think this keyboard, like I said, looks fantastic on this desk setup. And here is the mouse, and I love the way that the mouse, you can actually see inside and see SpongeBob's face in there, which is hilarious. Love the LED lights and everything, as you can see here. So really love the mouse, keyboard, and setup for this. Looks fantastic. Now, what was really hard to get, which is what we're going to talk about next, is the controller right here. First of all, before I used to use a 360 controller because I was part of the era of the 3D gaming, but they didn't make any SpongeBob stuff like that. I found someone that makes these custom controllers that I got really lucky with, and he made me a custom SpongeBob controller. So this is one of a kind because there's not, the only SpongeBob controller that I know of that exists currently is the one that comes with the All-Stars Brawl 2 Xbox Series X that they made, like some of that is impossible to get, that goes for like thousands of dollars right now on eBay, and no one's selling that controller separately. They're always selling it with the console and the box and everything. So there really isn't a SpongeBob controller to buy, but this custom one came out fantastic. Look at the detail on this. It looks so good. Looks freaking awesome. Look at that. Even has the bubbles there on the back and stuff. I think he did a great job. It's literally perfect without a single thing wrong with it. Love the two-tone like greenish blue hue on it. And SpongeBob and Patrick just look fantastic on this controller. So really happy because I didn't want, before I had like a Gears controller sitting right here, which is the 360 one that I had before on this previous setup, but Gears of War sitting next to SpongeBob like didn't make any sense. So I'm super happy that I was able to find that custom controller that fits the vibes of this area. The next thing we have over here is the actual, this came in the collection of Rehydrated, the same thing that came with the stickers there. So this little statue here is awesome. I think it looks fantastic and sits right above my little Synology server. So it really gives it a nice look right here to have that statue kind of sitting right there. Really love the look of that. And then right here we have, I've had this thing for a while and I finally have a good use for it. This is the DeVroom little thing that you can use as like a Bluetooth speaker to showcase images and everything. And now I change it to only showcase images of SpongeBob and stuff. So it cycles through, sometimes goes through the clock, as you can see right now. And then it goes through a bunch of different SpongeBob images that people have made, which is freaking awesome because it fits the vibe really well. And you know, it's a fun piece to have on here to just see all these images kind of flash through. It's awesome. And now I have a great use for this thing. I didn't know what to use this thing for before. It was kind of just sitting on the side of the desk, but now it fits really well here, and it fits the vibes of just having some images showcasing, you know, SpongeBob and stuff, and it fits with the setup really well. And then, of course, to tie it all together, I have this wallpaper sitting here on the back with SpongeBob and Patrick right there, which is awesome with my 3D setup. And like I said, what's really awesome is that I do have 2 SpongeBob games that I can play in 3D. Of course, I'm not going to show them to you right now because you wouldn't see them in 3D anyway. You would just see a fuzzy image, so that defeats the whole entire purpose. But it is Cosmic Shake, the new one, and SpongeBob Rehydrated. So it's really awesome that I can play both the new games from SpongeBob here in 3D, thanks to the fact that they're Unreal Engine 4 games. And, you know, being able to play those in 3D with my glasses over there is awesome on the Nvidia 3D PC. That was one of the reasons why I wanted to get this setup and get SpongeBob, was because, like I said, Spider-Man before, for a bunch of different reasons, also didn't have a game that I played in 3D, but SpongeBob does. So when someone sits here and they're like, what SpongeBob games do you have that you can play in 3D? I actually can show them two of the most popular or newest games that people have played, and Rehydrated is fantastic, and Cosmic Shake might be even better. So great games to have on here. Really feel like you're in the SpongeBob vibes. Really, really cool setup in my opinion. It looks really, really good. So let's go ahead and wrap up my thoughts on the SpongeBob new overlay that I have here in the Retro 3D PC. All right, guys, thank you guys for watching that video, and I hope you guys enjoyed it and got a good look at SpongeBob. Like I said, I'm going through, watching some of the episodes, learning about SpongeBob that a lot of people have been talking about for years that I've only gotten into in the last couple years. Super happy with this 3D setup now for where it is, and it fits so much better with the 90s wall that's right next to it, and just the retro vibes of this room as opposed to that Spider-Man chair, and then the rest of this being very plain. Now we actually have something that speaks to the retro vibes, speaks to the Nickelodeon side over here, and really, really happy with it, as you guys can see. If you guys have any questions about anything with this setup, leave those questions down below, and if not, thank you guys for watching. Until next time.